Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video, I'm going to talk about Speyburn Distillery and their review of the Speyburn 18-year-old Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey. So in April 2024, I made my fourth trip to Scotland. Previous trips, I had been as far south as Badenoch and Annandale, been to Islay twice, Isle of Arran, been to Campbelltown twice, went through the Springbank Whiskey School, been as far north as Orkney, and been to the Highlands, mainland, and Speyside twice. So on my fourth trip, I went to the western side of the Highlands and over to the Isles, including Isle of Raasay, Mull, and so forth. So in my second week, I went all the way from Tobermory, drove all the way to Speyside to visit some distilleries there and to go to the Speyside cooperage. So there are different types of whiskey drinkers. There are those who are just casual whiskey drinkers. They might have, a bottle of bourbon. They might have a bottle of scotch, probably going to be a blended scotch, probably going to drink in cocktails and so forth. There are people who are just drunks. They get whatever's cheap and just get blammoed. Then there are people who are whiskey enthusiasts, and those are going to be people who like to watch whiskey tuber videos and so forth. And then there are the whiskey nerds, the whiskey geeks, who are students of whiskey. They are really into the nitty-gritty. They read books and they ask a lot of questions, and almost to the point where during a tour or whatever, they might get a little bit annoying because they really want to know the intimate detail. I don't know any people like that, but I've heard about them. So, if you are one of those people, I want to say Speyburn Distillery should be on your must-visit list. Reason why is they have drum maltings. Drum maltings replaced floor maltings, and then drum maltings went away and when distilleries were using the Saladin boxes and went to just commercial malters. Speyburn still has the drum maltings, even though they're no longer being used, because they maintain them for historic purposes. The only other place you could potentially see drum maltings would be at Port Ellen Distillery and at Glen Ord. And you can have a good luck trying to get into either of those distilleries. So, for historical purposes only, at least for that, you want to go visit Speyburn Distillery and to see their old malting floor. And you're going to do a tour, at least I did, with a gentleman who had been there for a long time, and he was able to go really, really deep and get real geeky into knowledge about the distillery. All right, before I review this whiskey, I'm going to share with you my little tour of the distillery and give you some more information about Speyburn. Speyburn Distillery is located in the Speyside region in Rothes, Moray, Scotland. The distillery was founded in 1897 by John Hopkins and Company. It is currently owned by Inverhouse Distillers. Although they are no longer in use for historical purposes, they have preserved the malting floor as well as the drum maltings. They use a Porteous malt mill. The distillery has a 6.25 ton semi-lauter mash tun. Four wood washbacks. 15 stainless steel washbacks. They have 2 watch stills and 1 spirit still. and they use worm tub condensers. The Speyburn 18-year-old Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey. It's aged in ex-bourbon cask and ex-sherry cask. It has natural color. It is non-chill filtered. It's bottled at 46% alcohol by volume. So when I visited the distillery, I did buy a bottle from the distillery. This is a distillery exclusive. This is a bottle 192 of 264. This is cask number 483. It was distilled in 2012, bottled in 2023. Bottled at 55% alcohol by volume. Reason why I'm not reviewing this is, needless to say, that you got a snowball's chance of hell of actually getting this bottle. So I thought I would review a bottle that you can actually get. And to be honest with you, all my previous videos of distilleries that I've visited in April 2024, they've all been cask bottles, cask strength bottles, and I'm a little bit wore out. I want to take a little bit of a break, take it down a notch, and not drink something that's absolutely cask strength. Now eventually I'll get around to open this. I'm not a flipper, but I just thought, you know what, for this video, I'm going to review something that you can actually get your hands on. So this bottle checks all the boxes in terms of integrity bottling. 46% alcohol by volume, minimum, non-chill filtered, natural color, and it has a really nice balance of bourbon cask and sherry cask. You can really tinker with bourbon cask and sherry cask influence. You can go where obviously 100% bourbon cask or 100% sherry cask, and anywhere in between those two, maybe 50-50. You can go, it just has a little bit of a sherry influence. And if it's natural color, just from looking at the whiskey, you can get a good idea of the impact of the sherry cask. And this has a red orangish tint to it. It's fairly dark, so you know you got a lot of sherry cask influence going on there. On the nose, it does have some raisins. It does have some slight orange notes that you get from the sherry cask. Some vanilla, cinnamon, a lot of spice, caramel, toffee. It smells sweet on the nose. Perhaps some Christmas cake. Wow, real pretty nose. On the palate, it's fairly sweet all the way through. So sweet on entry, sweet in mid palate, sweet in the finish, but it's got a nice spicy note on the back end. It has a really nice sort of oily, viscous feeling. It's mouth coating. It's got a really good development. It's got a nice long finish. The sherry cask is really showing up on the finish. So on the palate, get a little figs, dates, raisins. This has more of an orange note or dried orange note than a lot of other sherry cask whiskeys or sherry cask influenced whiskeys. The vanilla kicks in the mid palate, the caramel, toffee, and then that little spice note, cinnamon, nutmeg, baking spices, and that continues to linger in the finish. This whiskey is really well balanced. If I was going to say, some whiskeys, they come across as pretty, they come across as elegant, they, as a key feature. They might come across as really sweet or real meaty. That sort of, if you're looking for one word that really describes that whiskey, sometimes you can have one thing, one particular trait that just stands out. For this one, that one trait that really stands out is balance. It's got a balance of sweetness and spice. It's got a balance in the mouthfeel. It's got a balance in the transitions. And I'm actually, sometimes I'm just not in the mood for cask strength. It's just too much. I don't feel like tinkering with it. I don't have to keep putting water in to get it down. This is a whiskey that's ready to go. You can pour yourself a dram and just chill out. I'm still tasting this now. The length of finish on this is absolutely fantastic. Price-wise, I know prices vary where you're at. I've seen plenty of places online that have this in the $75 to under $100 range. I've seen some insane ones that are over $100, $125. To get an 18-year-old Scotch these days for under $100 is hard to come by. So search around, look online. You might have to have it delivered, but you could probably pick this up for 75 to 80 bucks. But of course, if it's not at your local store, then you have to pay for shipping and all that stuff. That might get you over 100 bucks just with the shipping. But if you can find it at your local store and you can get it for under 100 bucks, I'm going to highly recommend it. What I'm going to give in terms of score, I'm going to go solid 90 points. A solid 90 points. And for the price point, I would say, yeah, this is definitely worth picking up. I think it's an absolutely fantastic whiskey. So if you're planning a trip to Scotland and you are a whiskey nerd, a whiskey student, which if you're watching my channel, you probably are, I want to highly recommend checking out Speyburn Distillery. All right, that's it for this video. If you subscribe to this channel, I want to thank you very much. If you've not yet subscribed, but you like watching my videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I go live or post a video. And if you have been to the Speyburn Distillery, or if you've had the Speyburn 18-year-old, let me know your thoughts down below. And until next time, Slàinte. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.